has his baby printed on the side for link the bus queue. Sometimes things change over time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
I'm sorry.
Go right ahead, ma'am. Go for it.
Hello, Dusty, Springfield Township, real brief. I just have one question. On number 22, you had B, F, and W North Farm in Springfield Township, and then B, F, and W South Farm in Springfield Township. Can you tell me where those are really located?
Matter of fact, they're the ones on Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
North and south of Jacksonville on the, I guess, the easterly side.
Across from the fairgrounds site.
From where?
Fairgrounds, on 206, you cross the street, across from the Wawa.
Where the parking is.
No, across the street from the Wawa.
In the corner.
Across the street from the Wawa would be the northern piece.
Northbound side.
Across the street from the fairgrounds would be the southern piece.
Oh, okay. And who owns those now? I don't know. Would be it?
The county does that.
Oh, so it's Burlington County.
Yeah, we're looking to auction at some point in the future and keep it in the farming, keep it farming.
And keep it farming.
Yes.
I know it's being farming. That's what I'm.
Yeah, no, the goal was to keep it farming, and the thought process is that by splitting it up, it makes it more functional. We might be able to get two different owners or one, but make it work a little bit better.
Because I know it's being farmed now, and then I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're going to sell it, is it going to be for something other than, or another farm market type thing, or something like that? So it's going to be continued to be farmed.
It's going to be continued to be farmed with all the rights of the farm. So I mean, there are rights to put a small stand and things like that are within the approvals if they wanted to, but it's not going to be developed.
Well, because of that being a humongous intersection as far as traffic.
There's issues.
Issues, a lot of issues, and I'm thinking, okay, now what are they going to do with it? And that's why I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. Thank you very much.
Yep. Anyone else?
Fred Ryan, Springfield Township.
Yeah, Fred.
Answer my question, I can't put a Dairy Queen up on that corner.
No, you cannot, but you can plant corn.
Question is, I'm a pretty big stickler on partisanship, and I gotta say, I really haven't seen it here. I'm not, right. I haven't seen it in my own township, I don't come here. And I like coming here because I like some of the stuff I hear. I think everybody does a good job. I think when you politicians, or whatever you want to call yourself, you professional people, are here because you've been put here from a party, which would be either the Republican Party, the Democrat Party. After that, you don't belong to them. You belong to the people. Well, they put you in here. The Republican Party.
No, they didn't.
They didn't pay for any of your,
They didn't put me here.
well, of course they didn't. Sit you in the chair, Joe. Come on, I understand that.
Let's be honest, the voters are the ones that put this here.
Through the Republican Party.
No, believe it or not, I get a few Democrat and independent votes too.
I want everybody.
If I were just counting, Republicans are outnumbered in this county. If I were counting solely on Republican votes, I don't win.
You don't win?
I don't win.
Okay. Well, what I'm getting at is I don't see the partisanship. I don't see it here from the people.
Even bipartisan.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying. Tonight, we talked about a couple things that are on this paper here. Number 2 and 3. You have a lot of professional people working for you. There's questions asked to one person here, had the answer. I'm going to point out figures or anything. There was another question asked to another person. They did not have the answer. And I think when you have something on your agenda that you're trying to get passed on the resolution, and the people that are answering these questions for you should know everything about that resolution, no matter what it is. And I didn't hear that here.
Okay, here's the deal. The financing of these loans, there are certain bands, and the current interest rates that these bands are in are short-term. So what we're doing is we're taking these short-term interest rates, which mirror the same interest rate we're pretty much getting now, and expanding it because it's available to us to expand over a longer period of time. But if we stay where we are now, those rates can adjust over a certain time period. So why not take advantage of the rates that are low now? Typically, the fees are about 1% of the amount being borrowed that go into doing all the work that are necessary. I've asked this question before, and I knew the answer for it. It's typically around 1%.
But do you know what the figure
Go ahead.
was?
Can I answer, sir?
Sure.
People are saying, how much are we saving? And one of the things when you're doing these financing, people sometimes use the terminology we're refinancing. And your first thought process is your mortgage. People have a 7-8% mortgage, and rates get better, and you refinance your mortgage, and then now you pay maybe a 4% mortgage, and you go, oh, my savings is the difference in my interest rates. These funding mechanisms here are a little bit different. What has happened here basically is the county has already incurred debt, and now this debt is coming due. Debt comes due either through bands, which are called band anticipation notes, and basically they're good for 1 year. You do these earlier on in the bonds because you have soft costs. You don't want to bond out for a lot of money that you're not going to use at one time, so you do some short-term borrowing. You can do that for 3 years. The first number 2 was that. There was a borrowing of 3 years. Now there has to be a decision either to pay back that short-term debt or to refinance it on a longer-term basis. Because the interest rates are so good right now, the decision is made to finance the debt going out on a longer-term basis. Number 2 had to do with a ban that basically we're going to redo it one more time. We're going to borrow short-term again because we're not ready to do long-term financing on this. So basically, we want to keep 1 more year of these borrowed dollars. And the decisions are made based on the markets, based on the need of where the capital expenditures are. When the question was asked to me, well, what does this cost? I did not have the answer because there's printing costs, there's bond counsel costs, there's the distribution cost of the bond. I do not have all that here. I believe the 1% of the bond issue probably is somewhere out there. But it's not a matter of what did it cost to do it, because you can't not do it. When your bond comes due, you need to make a decision, and you can't say, I'm not going to do it because the fees are too great or whatever it is. We have bond counsel, we have a financial advisor on staff that we pay for that advises the board and the treasurer's office in terms of what makes most fiscal sense in terms of saving dollars, in terms of providing capital for your immediate needs, and what makes sense to go out further. So I know sometimes people say, well, we're refining how much money did you save? It's not quite that same mechanism. So yes, I didn't have the printing cost. I think printing costs for these bonds are about $400 or $500, and we bid this. We have bond counsel on staff under contract. So basically, they handle this as part of their contract. We do many, many issues and receive much advice from them. And in these issues, basically, it's not, well, what's it going to cost me to do it? You have to do it. And it makes good fiscal prudent sense to do that. So I hope I explained this. I know people were saying, what did we save? It is a matter of how to borrow, when to borrow, and what are you borrowing for. And the markets right now are very much with us. I will tell you that I've been in the finance business for 35 years. I've done most of my career in finance. And one thing that I'm impressed upon in the county is basically their very strong credit. We have been reaffirmed by both Moody's and Standard & Poor's that we have a very strong credit, and we are watching our dollars, and that all translates into savings for the taxpayer. And I was hired to do that. I watch, and you can ask my colleagues, they yell at me every day, but I'm out there watching the dollars every day. So I just wanted to provide that explanation to you that these issues are important, and a question may come out, and there's probably 30, 40 items on here, and someone can ask anything. I prep for these meetings, but sometimes there's an issue where I have to get back. So again, I just wanted to explain that to you, and I hope that, I'm sorry I took this time, but I just wanted this to kind of be out in the open.
Well, I just thought it was funny that you didn't have a figure in your head, because you work with these figures every day. That it's either going to save you 30% or it's going to lose you 10% or some kind of an answer. It really wasn't an answer, you know.
It's not as, let me walk you through the.
No, I don't wanna waste anybody's time.
Can I do this?
I think what you said.
No, I understand what you're saying.
It's not a statement. It is, I have to refinance my notes, I have to go out in the markets to do it. You can't not do it. Okay, there's the short-term loan is 1 year in October, you have to go back out in the market and refinance this money. You have no alternative, you have to go out, the interest rates were high, you would have to be locked into those high interest rates. It's not an issue of, well, I want to do it, the interest rates are here or there, you must do it. The decision is going short-term borrowing versus long-term borrowing, and that is always a call, and the markets right now are with us.
It goes down to very basic, that if we go short-term, we're gonna deal with fluctuations of the market. If we can go long-term, we can lock ourselves in, we know where we're gonna be for a long period of time.
I understand.
And the fees on these options are pretty much set. They are what they are. I mean, it isn't something that you're gonna get you're not paying points, you're not doing the things that you do in your remortgage. These are pretty much the fees that we deal with when we deal with that. We have professionals where they evaluate what those numbers are gonna be and whether they're fair, and we move forward.
And first, we have what refinances before, where we've actually saved on,
Oh, yeah.
and definitely laid that out.
This is debt that was, this
I've
is
done the
debt.
same thing. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking
This
about.
is debt that, when you first bond for something, you basically, you're floating it out there. It's gonna float for a while until you decide to lock it together and go long-term, and that's where we're at right now. So,
But there isn't a figure on that bond?
well, we can give you a percentage rate on that bond.
I know, here's what we know. We know we floated $10.675 million in principal of bonds. We got them at 3.25 points, correct, Mr. Troy?
It is.
That's what we know. The $20,000-$30,000 in issuance costs, Mr. Troy doesn't have with it. That's like you go out to dinner, you have a steak dinner, you know what the dinner costs, but you don't know what the corn that came with the dinner cost. But you know the dinner was $26. We know that we floated $10.6 million in bonds. It's gonna cost us 3.25% over the next 20 years, correct? We can tell you 15 years. That's where the dollars are.
Okay, I understand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Oh, it's that finance class. Good evening, everyone. Michelle Pettis.
You need money.
Yes, I do need money. Don't have any money in my kitty. Anyway, I'm asking, we discussed this last meeting about the 10-year plan and the meeting that we had regarding so we can send our information back to the Fed, so were all those meetings completed, and she was supposed to get briefed on, Mrs. O'Brien, on the 10-year plan. And did you meet with Mr. Miller?
I did. I was briefed, and we're going to be scheduling another meeting.
Okay.
That would include Conway and United Way, as well as some others.
Okay. We didn't have a peace meeting last week, so that's why I'm bringing that up.
Yeah, that meeting will be
Okay.
scheduled next week or so.
And once again, I want to thank everybody for doing a great job, but I just really feel that on these agendas, you know, everybody should have the information. And also, I still have not gotten the figures for Farm Fair. I've been asking. Has that been tallied up, or are we complete with that?
We'll get you the figures on Farm Fair. I would have thought that they would have been tallied up and gotten to you. I know you asked for them a
No,
couple weeks
sir.
ago.
No.
We will work on that.
And what I mean by the agenda is that, so you guys can discuss things and the meeting can flow very swiftly, instead of having someone have to come bring her information and things like that. That's all, you know, like, if we're gonna sit and have a meeting, you need to have everything, everybody should have the same information, so you can make a decision and keep the process going.
That is
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
No, it's a rubber stamp.
Okay, we're not, you know, that's all I'm saying. We all need to get along and work together. You guys have a blessed week and see you next